Hello children, hope you are fine and doing well. You're taking care of yourself, you are okay, you don't have any sickness, and God has protected you from any sickness, especially COVID, which is terrorizing the whole nation and so on. So we are back here in our lessons. I'm your teacher, Nabal Richards, during our science lessons in P6. And we are still looking at the flowering plants. Last time remember we looked at the parts of the flowering plants. And today we are going to look at specifically one part, the roots. So I want you to get organized, and then we start off. Now, under this topic here, I expect you by the end to have known the two main types of root systems. Then three, okay, first of all, I expect you to have known what a root is. Then two, you'd have known the two main types of root system. Then thirdly, to mention the different types of roots we have. Then probably to mention the importance of roots to plants and animals. So let's get organized and start off. So, and remember, I never left with that activity. So we are going to start off right away. What is a root? So I want you to write for me just a simple statement describing a root. To you, what do you think a root is? Less than 10 seconds, enough for you to write that. You must be done with that. So, what do you think a root is? You must be having an idea at least. Let's start with mine here. So we are defining a root as a part of a plant which grows in the soil. Simple as that. Any part of a plant that grows into the soil is what we call the roots. Then we are going to see that true roots actually develop from a part called the radicle. Remember the radicle, we learned it in the seeds, P4 work. So the true roots must develop from the radicle of a seed, as we shall see later on further. Then, have a look at my roots here. You see, where are they found? You can see all of them are in soil. Whether it is deep like this one, whether it is spread like the other one here, and many others. So in fact, after this lesson, I want you to go out there in the garden and uproot one plant. Could be grass, could be anything, and then have a look at the roots. So the roots are found in the soil. Now, in our next session, children, we have two main types of root system. Do you still remember them as we learned them in the P4? Can you write them for me down in your notebook? The two main types of root systems. Let me check. Check yourself by writing with mine here. So we're saying there are two main types of root system. These are the tap root system and the fibrous root system. The spelling is very, very important here. Tap root system, fibrous root system. Did you pass any of them? Or you passed? If you passed two, great. If you passed one, good. If you failed them, fine, don't worry, you have already seen them. Now, what do each of them look like? Look at this one here. So this is a tap root. It's a main root. It grows deep in the soil. Deep in the soil. It's one main root with other lateral roots that grow from it. These other lateral roots we see here are what we call the lateral roots. And they have got tiny other roots here which we call the root hairs. Now this tap root system is basically a characteristic of which type of plants? Can you remember? It's a basic characteristic of actually plants which are dicotyledonous. Okay? Plants whose seeds have got two cotyledon. Things like what? Mention for me. We have the beans, we have peas, we have groundnuts, we have mangoes, we have got oranges. Most of the trees actually have got this type of root system. Most of the trees you see around there have got tap root system. It goes deep in the soil. Then that's why it says a characteristic of most of the dicotyledonous plants. The major root of the plant upon which others originate is what we call the tap root. Have you seen it, my children? It's a main root, long root which goes deep in the soil. Then on the other side, we have got the fibrous root system. Fibrous, they are roots of the same size. They don't go deep in the soil. For them, they are shallow. As you have already seen here, these are the ones we are seeing that my arrow is showing them to you. They're a bit shallow, they spread, they are uniform. And for them, where do you think they are mainly found? Which group of plants are those which have good type of root system? Oh, you have already seen it here. Those are basically monocotyledonous what? Plants. Plants like maize, sorghum, all the grasses have got this type of thing here. They have got, most of the cereals have got this type of root system here. Hope you have seen it. So these are many roots originate from the same point on the plant. So you must be able to draw for me the two types of root system. Hope you have seen them. Good, children. Now, in our next session, we want to look at the types of roots. Other modified types of roots, what are they? So remember, there's other modified types of roots. Now, if a root grows from any other part of the plant, not necessarily from the radicle, then it becomes a secondary root, or sometimes we call it an adventitious root. It can actually grow from the stem, it can grow from either part, the leaves, and so on. So which other roots do you remember which you learned in your previous classes? Write for me only 3 down there. One is done. 2 gone. Let's check with mine here. Oh, could you be having any of these on your paper? Let's go through them. We have the prop roots. We have the breathing roots. We have the clasping roots. We have the aerial roots. We have the stilt roots. And you have the storage roots. We can go through them. Prop roots, breathing roots, clasping roots, aerial roots, stilt, the word is stilt, S-T-I-L-T. Then the storage roots. So these are the roots which can be growing from any other part of the plant. So these roots here, for them, they can grow from any other part of the plant. Most certainly the stems and so on. And such kind of roots, we shall be calling them adventitious roots, or we call them secondary roots. Remember the 2 primary roots. We have the taproot system and the fibrous root system. So these are secondary roots. So we can have a look at some of the pics showing some of these roots here, and 2, we shall be able to see what probably each of them does. The first one here, are you seeing that? The arrow is pointing at the roots which we call the prop roots. These prop roots are basically found in plants like which one? Like maize, like millet, even sugarcane has got them. And for them, they normally grow at the flowering stage, at the bud stage, and they give extra support to the plant. So when the maize is about to flower, it will develop those kind of roots, and those roots are what we call the prop roots. They give the maize plant extra support. Fine. Have you seen that? You see that? So these roots which originate from the stem above the soil to give extra support to the plant. Found in cereal plants like maize, sorghum, barley, wheat, and many others. Hope you have seen them, my children. Let's look at the other type. These are what we call the buttress roots. Say the word, buttress roots. What do they look like? This is what they look like. They are very strong roots which grow at the base of the plant. You see them? Could you be having any tree around your home which has got this type of roots here? No. Let's go back there. So the buttress roots also, they grow from those woody plants, strong trees, and they give them also extra support. These are what we call the buttress roots. Then we have got what we call the breathing root. I know you could be laughing. Breathing root, how can the root breathe? Yeah, roots also can breathe. How they breathe? You are going to have a look at that. Look at my plant here. Could you have seen that kind of plant anywhere in the environment? I know you have never seen this. So some roots can actually develop from the soil. They can grow from water and come out. There's a plant called the mangrove. Has got this kind of roots here. So these are what we call the breathing roots. And what do they breathe? Of course, they are getting oxygen from the atmosphere, since they cannot extract it from the water and so on. So this is what you see here. The very good example is the mangrove plants. Then we have got to our clasping roots. This one, of course, are very common. You could have seen it out there. They help those plants with weak stems to support and move on. They are called the clasping roots. We have others. So these are found in climbing plants. And could you be knowing why plants climb others? I know you learned about that in P3. Yes, 1, we said they climb in order to get sunlight. 2, they also climb in order to get support. You can see this plant could be having a weak stem, so it needs support from other plants. So it's going to be using this kind of roots we call the clasping roots, and therefore climb and get other support. Then you have got the stilt roots. Stilt roots, they also give the plant extra support. It's basically found in cotton and fig plants. It's what we call the stilt roots. Some of them I know you have never seen them in your environment. You don't have them. Of course, the commonest we normally see are those roots like the tap roots and fibrous systems. So this one, I know you have never seen them. So they are normally found in plants which are in swampy areas. So they are called the stilt roots. Good. Then we have got what we call the storage roots. I told that roots can store food. So which roots store food? Let's have a look at this one here. Very good. Look at that. Which plant could that be? Which one could that be? Are you seeing those just sweet potatoes? Even the cassava has got the same kind of thing. Even the carrots have got the same kind of thing. So this kind of roots actually, the root swells and stores food. And that's why we call them storage roots. And you learned that in P5 that we have got what we call the root tubers, plants like sweet potatoes, plants like cassava, plants like carrots and others. They store their food in the swollen underground roots. And that's why we call them root tubers. And this kind of roots they have, we have to call their storage roots. So, my children, hope you have seen the pics. Seeing the store food for the plant. So, how are roots useful to the plant? So, can you write for me only two functions of the roots? Any function of the roots to a plant? These are the functions of the roots to a plant. One, I told you last time, the roots absorb water and mineral salt from the soil. Through the process we shall be calling osmosis. Then two, roots hold the plant firmly in the soil. You saw that one earlier on. Then three, some roots store food for the plant. Like which one? We said cassava, carrots, sweet potato, and many others. Then let's look at the roots to the animal. Can roots be useful to animals? Can you write for me only use of roots to an animal, including man? You have already written that one. Let's check with mine here. One, we are saying they are used as food. Of course, we eat cassava, we eat carrots, we eat sweet potatoes. So they provide us with food. Have you seen how delicious? You can see they look yummy. My cassava. So two, they can also be used as herbal medicine. You see that? So we get their roots and you can get medicine out of them. Some people know, the herbalists, remember I looked at the drugs. Those people who can get medicine, they can get medicine from the roots, and which can be used for treating infections and so on. But remember, those drugs are not well prescribed. Don't forget that one. And then, so we are saying that roots also can be sold and we get money. People sell the cassava, people sell the rumonde, and they get money. So that's how roots can be useful. So, as usual, this time I'm leaving with a simple activity. The activities from what you have been looking at, the questions are 5 only. Question 1, what type of root system do mangoes have? Question 2, name one plant with fibrous root system. Question 3, how are roots useful to a cassava plant besides sucking water mineral salt? Question 4, why do maize plants develop prop roots? And lastly, how are roots useful to man? So thank you for being good children. Stay safe. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.